Choppers airlift world leaders to safety after the Asean summit in Thailand descended into chaos. Security compromised and severe embarrassment for the hosts. A humiliating end to a high-profile international meeting as Wen Jiabao and others were whisked away to a nearby military base. The ASEAN summit had been cancelled after anti-government red shirt protesters stormed the venue. Smashing glass doors to gain entry, thousands poured into the building, brushing aside the soldiers who had been there to protect the delegates. But special security had been in place for this weekend's guests. 16 Asian leaders representing more than half of the globe. Security forces were on high alert. The red shirts had breached police lines on Friday. This time, they should have been prepared. But they couldn't stop this, a strategic advance early in the morning by the red shirts. When the police lines crumbled, however, clashes broke out with another faction of protesters, the pro-monarchist blue shirts. Scuffles and rock throwing, a large smoke bomb went off as both sides attacked with slingshots and other improvised weapons. And according to the security forces, a brief burst of gunfire. At least 2 people hospitalized. Why the Thai government, who said they'd anticipated these protesters arriving, didn't do more to secure the situation seems very strange. Nonetheless, it seems very much that today has been a victory for the red shirts out here on the steps of the ASEAN summit in Pattaya. But with this showcase event and Thailand very much in the world's eye, wasn't this going to further damage the kingdom's already tarnished image?
I think the foreigners would understand because this government didn't come from election.
We're here to demand democracy. It shouldn't harm the country. It's the same everywhere.
And once again, Thailand under mob rule, as a sea of red roamed the streets, with the government seemingly powerless that they couldn't stop this. What powers remain? Tony Cheng, Al Jazeera, Thailand.
Well, it's all a very difficult, tricky situation, and joining me now from Bangkok is Supong Litana-Kool, who's the Vice President for Special Affairs at the Centre for Strategic Studies, and that's at Bangkok University. Welcome, sir. Thanks for joining us here on the programme. Thailand really, once again, on very difficult ground. World leaders plucked from the roof of this meeting, and it's just a disaster, isn't it?
Yes, we missed the golden opportunity to discuss crucial economic issues and the mission to combat global economic crisis when a few thousand anarchist group of red shirts stormed the convention venue in Pattaya.
So demonstrators snapping at their heels as the world leaders have to leave. The mob rule, isn't it?
Yes. Opposite government have to shoulder the blame and show their inability to protect convention compound when ASEAN leaders witnessed, the anarchy. And the preparation was poorly planned and haphazardly executed by only a few hundred policemen, and witnessed impotently the army marching away towards the center to a nearby garden, leaving the protesters free access to summit area, jeopardizing the safety of the leaders participating in the summit.
Fundamentally, what's the cause of all this? Just a widespread feeling that the current incumbent was not democratically elected?
I don't think that is the main reason. I think another person who must shoulder the blame is our former Prime Minister Thaksin Shinawatra, because of his total disregard for the safety of the demonstrators, knowing very, very well that he is sending them into harm's way, but he still rallied the red shirt to support him nightly to topple this government, dismiss His Majesty's, the King's Privy Council, and to dissolve the Parliament. I think this is just for the chance to free his assets and maybe back to Thailand, but all his wife and children are evacuated abroad already on April 8th.
Isn't it right to say that the best way forward now would be just to hold another election, and then whoever does get voted in at that point, everybody would accept?
I think the government have 3 options right now. First is to declare a state of emergency and deal with the demonstrators or anarchists or whatever you want to name it, and in a very civilized way. Or secondly, for the Prime Minister to resign, so they will have another person to take his place that is acceptable to both sides. And thirdly, is to dissolve the Parliament for another election, which I don't know if any one of them will work.
You call these red-shirted demonstrators anarchists, but in a sense they're no different to the yellow-shirted ones we saw a few months back.
There is no difference between the two. But now, let's say that now if the yellow or whoever is taking part in this new government, there will be other dissenters. And where are the rule of law? This is what, we in the academic world is watching is, how can we enforce the rule of law? France is having the same problem with, several million people demonstrating. And, they know that they have to hold the ground. On some of the WTO meetings, there were violence. And some of the World Bank meetings, there were violence. But at least, they were rule of law and they can control the crowd.
All right, Dr. Supong Limakul, we appreciate your time. Thanks very much indeed.